Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, where I'm always going to be excited to introduce the Terran player in the blue, the #1 in the world, from Team Liquid, the Frenchman. It's Clem. But another rising star, finally getting some recognition, the reigning GSL champion from Korea. It's Solar. A best of 5 Terran versus Zerg. Clem's unstoppable aggression versus Solar's pretty much unbreakable Zerg. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go, but I know there's going to be good games for the fans. Starting with the first Reaper. We'll get a kill. We'll get a single Zergling. 1 is still enough when it comes to Zerglings, and 1 is still enough when it comes to likes and subscribes that I ask of you. Jimmy, what are we? 1,223 likes on this video, on this cast, on this series. And I'll cast another one. Okay, Clem. Alright. And there's the Ling. And the Tumor. Throw it on top. That's the subscribe. Okay. But hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get a little bit better. Just a taste. Just a taste of what I expect from these two. Solar, gonna sit back, build up, and Clem going to be sitting right at the ragged edge of going too far, but somehow never quite stepping across that line. Because the moment he does, the medevacs will swoop in and pick him up. But still, with the Reaper first, gets the Creep Tumor, gets a Zergling. The Creep Tumor is by far the most important part. I've talked about it before, and I always got to preface it with this is not just like talking about accounting. It's very interesting and cool, and don't fall asleep. But Queen energy management, stay with me. Okay, so your queens, they only have so much energy. They get tired very easily. They only start with 25. Most units start with 50. Some start with 75, but queens start with only 25, which means they have to choose between injecting larva, a tiring experience, or dropping down a Creep Tumor. These are all very physically exerting, let alone transfuse, all right? Everything with the queen is really rough, but shut up, Brenda. But with that first Creep Tumor being chosen and sniping it off, that's another around 20-second delay before you can get your creep started. It takes less than that amount of time for creep to fully spread from the tumor. So essentially, Clem has set back all of the creep spread by 20 seconds. And while that might not seem like much, 20 seconds is about how long it takes for a medevac or a Banshee to get across the map. And those things add up. And at the end of the day...
numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you.
Thank you for sticking with me through that whole bit. But it is true that keeping the creep at bay can be well worth it and return dividends later on. And that is why the very top Terrans are able to keep on the very edge of the creep and bring out units like Hellions and Banshees, which might not combine quite as well with the main army, but serve the dual purpose of keeping Zerglings at bay and keeping that creep about as restrained as possible. The Banshee keeps the queens in position and keeps track of them as well. Occasionally you'll see the early Queen Owens, and of course makes it harder for them to stop the Hellions from delaying the creep. And this dance back and forth usually doesn't result in a lot of kills because both players are so good at kind of understanding the situation. You're not going to see Solar make 30 Zerglings in a half-hearted attempt to kill the Hellions or do a counterattack, and you're not going to see Clem dart in with his Hellions because of the risk of having those extra Zerglings. Occasionally, Terran players might think about it, but as they say, 2 Hellions at the edge of the creep is worth 4 in the mineral line. The Banshees, using that little bit of high ground there, but as they fire, they do reveal themselves slightly. And, oh my god, could you not? Oh my god. Why? The Banshee has 100, well, it has more than 100 HP. You know what? I don't actually know how much HP a Banshee is. 160? I want to say. Something like that. But the Banshee has 160 HP, and you only need 1 of it to technically survive. And Clem is very well aware of that as he comes in for another drone kill or 2, making use of the whole Banshee there. And so far, losing exactly nothing. Easy enough to count. 9 drones, 3 Zerglings. A lot of pressure on the creep, But Solar, not to be outdone. Now the first medevacs are coming across. Clem went with a quick 3cc into double engineering bay, but he didn't skimp on his production. So that means that the engineering bays were a little later, and Solar is actually going to have 1-1 done for his Lings and Banelings. But Baneling speed is still pretty far off, and without Baneling speed, even on creep, those Banelings waddling in become something of target practice for Clem. So Solar is going to need to buy time, definitely until his upgrades, and ideally until he's able to get that Baneling speed done. The Queens may eat the Widowmine hits, so that way no one else has to. Brenda, go out ahead. What do you mean go out of... Ah! But the stutter step! Oh my. And he leaves, finally leaves when he has exactly 16 Marines left. Shaves it down to size. Clem, so far has lost 1 Marine. Well, he did lose both those Widowmines. But the armory is done now. Another army is coming out. Combat shield finishing up momentarily, which will make it a lot easier to be able to engage against those Banelings. 2-2 on the way for both sides. Upgrades draw uneven. Solar, he's got creep halfway across the map, but Clem is working around the edges still. The creep is a pretty good indicator of how well the game is going for the Zerg, and just in general. I mean, it's two sides of the story. Banelings rolling in. And Clem just finding the angle. Still a better trade for Clem. If the creep is less than halfway across the map, it's going well for the Terran. If it's over halfway, it's probably momentum towards the Zerg. And if it's lapping up your doorstep, well, it's desperate times and desperate measures. Widowmine connects. Hydra's added into the composition for Solar. Widowmine's on both fronts. He's building 4 at a time. Drilling Claws is completed as well. Clem, one of the few players I've seen actually use the buff to Drilling Claws, allowing them to unburrow more quickly. Yeah, oh my god. Devastating hits. A barrage across the bow. And another Widowmine drop gonna slink into the Widowmine, burrow down, and slam not only into the drones, but the medevac that brought them in. No survivors. Lurker Den's on the way. Hive has started, but Clem is really laying on the pressure here. Targeting down more Banes. This is such a tenuous... This is that ragged edge that I was talking about. The Lings and Banes rolling in. Clem makes one misstep, and he could lose 20 or more supply even. But if Solar makes none missteps, he'll likely lose just as much to the Widowmines. More creep. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I guess... that was the best case scenario, was the Banelings. Only a few of them expended to kill the mine. A Zergling on creep runs by the mine before it can lock on, which is a bit inconvenient because usually the Banelings are trailing behind and they're not quite fast enough. Overseer's looking for an opportunity to drag, maybe, into the Marines. The Marines will gun down one. Hydra's backstopping here. That extra DPS could be very important. More mine picks up. Queen's respreading the creep, but you see Clem really exerting the pressure here. Another Widowmine, but these are all dealt with. Overseer needed, knocks down a medevac, but another drop. Clem won't stop. Here we go again. And the Marines falling back. Widowmine, massive connection. I think he may have manually targeted there towards the edge. But either way it works out, or just maneuvered around it. Either way works out pretty well. Clem, in the last 2.5 minutes, has killed 126 Zerglings and 15 Marines. Solar has also killed 27 Marines, which is, you know, concerningly close in numbers. The Widowmine devastating to both sides, but definitely worse for Solar so far. Clem falling back. Mines diffused. The Hydras are pretty good against the mines themselves. A big connection. That drop at the back is either shut down or shut out. Shut out for now. But it can't go much further, and I believe there were Vipers on the way. I'm sure a parasitic bomb is in his future, if that's true. Yep. Though, you know what? Pet peeve of mine. Quick sidebar. Why the hatcheries? Why do we always consume the hatcheries? Why not like an Evo chamber? I mean, the Hive has a lot of HP, and it's directly HP, but make an Evo, make a battery pack. I don't know. If 1 in 10 games it ends up getting your hatch killed because it had such low HP after consume, well, the mines will fire across the bow. Another one with drilling claws. Oh, didn't quite get the detection there in time. Clem Gonna lose a lot of Marines, though. Flying up towards the sky. Well, I guess towards the surface here on Oceanborn. Target's down, a few more Banes. But Solar is maxed out. The Banshees are still alive. Welcome back. We haven't seen you for 10 minutes, almost. Clem uses the whole Banshee, remember. No burrow done. That was a prime opportunity for potential Bane mines there. Whatever happened to those medevacs? Solar has killed 3 of them. I think he may have taken out the medevacs in the corner, especially based on how little supply is left for Clem. And by that, I mean he's down 25. Ghosts have joined the field, but Solar doesn't have any great targets for Ghosts. Ghosts in general are pretty good, but without Lurkers or Broodlords, in general, they're not as oppressive. And Clem starting to lose a lot of SCVs here. The Zerglings with Adrenal Gland. Solar striking back, and now Nidus into the main. The Zerglings have killed 11 SCVs. Clem has been fighting at the front, but on the home front, on the other hand, the Ghost Academy is under attack. The Zerglings burrowing into it. The Hydra's engaging. The mines may be a little slow on the draw here. And Clem starting to crumble. Solar's momentum is just so much right now. Falls back to the planetary, but he's running out of real estate. EMP on the Vipers, tries to repair. Not going to be enough. 20 SCVs down. Clem's supply still surprisingly high for the situation, but he's down to 60 SCVs. That means his army supply... Oh my god, he saved the Ghost Academy, but there are Lings burrowed under his third. He's using either... Is that... Oh, a changeling. But a massive Widow Mine! 14 mines! Oh my god, you can kind of see the worm popping up there. What is going... That usually doesn't do that. Oh, but the Lurkers pop out. Widow Mines will connect, but the Nidus completes, and now on the low ground. I'm still weirded out by that worm. Cloaks the Banshees. The Banshees may actually be the best way to deal with this, but Clem is going to have to put together a masterclass defense in an absolutely instant amount of time. As here come the Hydras, Lings, and Banes, and Solar. He may have suffered great losses, but Clem can't suffer anymore. He's down to 155. Chasing down the Baneling. Solar has lost more. The Banshees are actually the saving grace here. Is there not another scan? Another counterattack. Gets in, kills some drones. Solar still has 80 of them. Finally, finds a scan to clean up that Lurker. Clem just still a remarkably high supply. Not gonna bother scanning to deal with it, but they're... Oh my god, Solar at 600 actions per minute. Clem at an incredibly respectable and almost unchallenged as Terran 470. But you really see, like, Solar's able to keep up with Clem's aggression. Clem is not... He's not able to drive Solar back and keep him pinned there. And Solar now, well, to Clem's credit, he did not falter. He's still going and his supply is still solid. But Solar's been essentially maxed out for 5 minutes straight. Widowmine hits a Viper, about the best target it could hope for. Where are those Vipers going? Takes him a second to realize they might be going the wrong direction. Unfortunately, you can't consume enemy bases, to which I ask, hey, why not? Maybe not the place to stand here. The Widowmine is spotting all this as well. Oh, that... the Ghost looking for a snipe. Oh, no. We'll find it. Ghost bravely marching forward. More mines. This one taken out. But... Oh, my God! The Ghost! Instant replay. Jimmy, please! I suspected that Ghost might stick around. And the timing... Oh, my... Oh, no. Solar actually went back at the wrong moment there. Still, though, despite these severe losses, once again, he's not called the Rocky Zerg for no reason. He's taken the punches. He'll go every round and still get back up. 55 mines dead. And it could be 55 more by the end of this. But Solar keeps grabbing the map. He has not lost a singular hatchery throughout this game. He's maintained his production and grown it over time. And Clem, he's remaxed out, but for how long? The Widow Mines, huge connections. There's still a lot of map to go. There's 2 or 3 more bases that can be taken here. Well, if we do get to that point, Solar is going to have to consider... Oh my god! From downtown. Is that enough, though? The Banshees are back! I know! I just keep assuming they died off screen! Oh, but... off-screen deaths don't count. The Banshees always come back when Clem needs them. Alright. Leading cast. Clem still hanging with Solar here. He tried a few lurkers with the Nidus and then just gave up on the whole idea. The mines. Wheelbarrow. Oh, Viper. Tried a parasitic bomb, but a single EMP knocks out enough energy to negate it. The SCV's on the run. Baneling's trying to connect. Changeling's actually kind of getting in the way there. Bit of a mistake. Hydras and Lynx. Whoa, there's a Nidus in the main. Where are the Banshees? Well, there's enough units there to deal with it, but Clem kind of getting caught off guard here. Mines will burrow. He's actually splitting them. Looking for connections. Gets a big one on the front. And the snipes onto the Overseers. Taking what he can get. I'm not sure the Changelings mixed in with everything are actually helping here. They're reducing the surface area somewhat, but Solar is pushing Clem back to the door. Will he hold it? More mines. So many mines. More mines than Solar could handle. Another Nidus. 67 mines have died so far. But Solar keeps throwing units at him. The endless swarm. The Nidus comes out. Were there lurkers in there the whole time? Is that where the lurkers have been lurking? Where are the Banshees? Oh, don't tell me the Banshees actually died. Now, after all this, they died off screen. Are you kidding me? That seems unfair. Life isn't fair. Oh my god, he saves the lurker with the Nidus. Feels like Clem's starting to lose. The Niduses are not being dealt with quickly enough. A counterattack. A bit off center there. Didn't target the drone line until a bit late. Looking for more. Picks up. Action-packed game 1, but Clem is running out of steam here. He's got 150. He's got plenty of gas, but steam, on the other hand, definitely struggling. 160 to 200 supply. Solar perpetually maxed out. Maybe 1 or 2 infestors down. The scans. Infestors trying to sneak up. Solar starting to expand to his side of the map. That infestor pops up. Knocks down the ghosts. Baneling's rolling in. Wombo combo. And Solar is able to roll him down. In game number 1. A beautiful play. Solar keeping up with the aggression. At the end of the day, 69 mines. Filthy. Filthy mines. Everywhere. Well, honestly, I do think the mines did more harm than good at certain points. They got some highlight hits, but at the same time, they were blunting a lot of the momentum of the early medevac pushes. So at the end of the day, was it a real benefit? Solar able to hang with Clem in game 1, but we're going, maybe, to Equilibrium. Yes, map 2. We'll see if Clem is able to bring it back or Solar expands his lead. That is the Solar I know and love. God, he just, he keeps getting punched in the face. Widow mine after widow mine, drop after drop, Marines gunning down just entire swaths of Zerglings. But it doesn't matter. The Zerg don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming. He finds a way to... I think a key point was when we saw the Widowmine hits, when we saw those connections, it was almost entirely Zerglings. Maybe a Baneling or 2 scattered in. But Zerglings, for the most part, until the bases start mining out, can be replaced. They only cost minerals. Alright? Everybody cover the ears of your emotional support Zerglings. They don't need to hear this. But Zerglings are expendable. No, not you. Not you. But the rest of them. Reaper comes in straight to the main. Forces the Spore to temporarily save the day. That must be traumatizing for the drone. Not as traumatizing as death, but up there. 2 command centers. Clem with the full greed here. Really? Gonna come in for more? Does Clem switch it up? He's really stuck with this pretty consistent style lately. Bringing back the Hellion Banshee. It's a style that's over half as old as Clem is. 13 years now, the Hellion Banshee. Which, Clem, I believe, turned 21 this year. So literally over half his life. Oh, doesn't get the creep tumor. Terrans have been doing the 1-1-1 into 3cc Hellion Banshee builds. And Clem definitely... We saw kind of the season of the Reaper. For Beyond, that's every season. But Reaper's more like a light seasoning, as opposed to a main strategy nowadays. At least for most players. Because the Hellion Banshee has so much utility. Viking first. But getting the starport in general. But there's simply no more reliable way to get a 3rd CC. Everything else relies on either scouting and all in, and dealing with it with some very tenuous micro, or just kind of gambling on greed. Like if you go for the 2 Reaper builds, or the 2 Barracks Reaper, and they decide to go for a Roach all-in kind of either blindly, or maybe on the wrong side of the map and the add-ons are exposed, etc. This is not the Banshee build, by the way, but it is still a 1-1-1 behind that early aggression. Looks like he's going to do a Hellion drop to the main. The Viking is knocking down that Overlord in order to clear the vision towards the main. A clever move. We'll see if it works out. Solar sent a Zergling out to maintain vision afterwards. So, the Zergling, I believe he saw the medevac. So that kind of gives up the whole game on that. Not the game itself, the mini game of what am I doing? Am I doing some sort of crazy battle cruiser build, or am I just gonna do like a medevac or a liberator? And medevac it is. Does he? He's faking the drop. It's a fake. Now that reference is definitely older than Clem, but the medevac into the main, and then the Hellions all dart into the 3rd, but Solar responds with an Evo chamber, staunches the bleeding here. About as good as that was gonna go. Only loses 4 drones, the fake medevac, but Solar's reaction time, amazing there. And is able to handle it near instantaneously. 4 drones. Clem committed a lot. Well, he's thinking about it. Wow, he dives in that far. It would have worked. He would have gotten a lot of damage done. But Clem refuses to believe Solar would have all the Zerglings on the map, so he doesn't take that opportunity. And now the Zerglings are headed towards the 3rd. And Clem, he stacks up those SCVs. Oh my god, the micro. He's dropping the Marines in that back corner. He's juggling them out. The SCVs are stacking in the mineral pocket where the Zerglings, because they can't bend the laws of physics to mine minerals, aren't able to really get much damage. So Clem gets out of that. Both players now. He's lost 1 SCV. Both players have done an immaculate job of defending their workers. At least so far. Hellions looking for an opportunity, but I don't think... Well, did not account for the drones headed towards the gold base there. Which certainly opens up some new possibilities, but Solar ends up losing 5 more drones. 9 in production. So still has... And with the gold base coming up, he's going to have that boost to economy. It's not that you get more minerals overall, but more with less drones. so it makes it a lot easier to build the units behind. Oh my god, retargeting the mine. He keeps retargeting the mine manually, assuming direct control, in order to avoid launching the hit at Queens. Wow, because if there are multiple targets in range, you can retarget it, as Clem has demonstrated there. And now, the Hellions coming in again. 1-1 not quite done for the Ling Bane or the drones. A bit relevant for the drones against the Hellions. No Carapace, but he actually gets the base with no cancel, and Clem now. It takes quite a significant supply lead. I think Solar reaching out for this gold base may pose more risk than reward so far. Now, Solar is going to get the income here. Eat some hits with the Queens. But Clem has the momentum. The drop into the main. He has to keep sending units back. Knocks down another Overlord. 156 to 131 supply, and all the Queens are pulled off the line. Well, at least many of them. Which means not that many back at home to inject. And now the angle. This angle is actually really rough to deal with. He has to come through his own mineral line. Where are the Banelings? Where are the Banelings? The Hellbats. Clem held on to so many of his Hellions, and now Hellbats are going to help out a lot tanking here. And the Marines are standing their ground. Dropping back a little bit, targets a Bane, gets another, stims again, looking for more. There goes an Overseer. Drone, 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 drone. 17 drones in the last minute. But wait, there's another drop up to the north side. Widowmine already gonna burrow. He's gonna pull back. I take it back. He's not actually microing. It doesn't matter, though. Still a pretty good trade for Clem there. The Viking is still alive, just so we know. Post-credit scene there. And the Widow Mines will fire again. Clem up 30 supply after that exchange. And he's taken no damage at home. If you can't stop the momentum. You remember, I was talking about the creep spread. Well, look at it. It's barely outside of Solar's bases while Clem comes streaming across. He was able to keep the creep spread cut down. That vision and that speed for the Zerg units, not nearly as useful here or as possible. And Clem, that means Clem's momentum will continue. Unless there is some dramatic shift here. As Clem is going to have 2-2 at almost the same time. There will be a small window where maybe Solar can work with an upgrade advantage. Window is about 7 seconds. Which, I mean, he's trying. Loses the Overseer. The Marines finish 2-2. The Viking still going to work. Spots some Overlord. Solar supply blocked. Oh, it's a disaster. That supply block, insult to nearly fatal injury. He needs units now, and he simply cannot build them. Clem doesn't know how bad it is for Solar, but he can guess. Just able to put himself in the driver's seat so early on. And has been dictating the pace of the game. I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel here for Solar. Maybe if he was dark, but not this time. Well, a few units getting caught, but still a rough trade. The Marines, and there's more. There's another drop up to the north. Clem, almost twice as cost-effective. Just he comes back with a vengeance in game 2. And the Marines, and the Medevacs, and those Hellions. You know, the real MVP, the Hellions, I think, and the Viking. Those early units getting so much, just like the Banshees in the game before. It wasn't the Banshees' fault that he lost game 1, all right? It wasn't on the Banshees. They did everything they could. It was on everyone else. But I guess we have now reached equilibrium. But only for so long. As game 3 is upon us. Yes, already. Alcyone. Of course, a dramatic series between these two. Honestly, I would put them on par with one another. it really, I think Clem versus Cyril is a whole different experience. But Clem and Solar, I think it's partially because they're both, like, you can't compare anyone with Dark. He's not in the category here. But Solar also plays in all these online tournaments, weekly tournaments. He plays but he plays a relatively standard style. Cyril, on the other hand, only decides to log on when there's at least 5 digits of prize pool. Or so it seems. He doesn't play in a lot of the weekly tournaments and stuff. So you see a lot of these two players outside of these premier tournaments as well. And they just rely on their sheer strength in order to muscle through pretty much everyone. There's a single-digit number of players who can hope to stop them. So, and I think we see that here. What a clash. Really does feel like a tug of war. What'll it be this time? I would love to see one of those cyclone. Ooh. Easy snipe. So, if we're reading into an incredibly small and meaningless sample size, Clem has only won games in this series where he didn't snipe the creep tumor. All right, for those of you keeping track. Reaper, poking, prodded. Has the run of the place pretty much until Zergling speed, and even then, still annoying. Reaper comes in, almost kills. He gets that half shot off. What's it gonna be? We got three queens on the way. Forces the Spore can't. Liberator. We reach into the starport, and this time we pluck out a Liberator. Something fresh for Game 3. The same baseline build, but we're branching out slightly. Oh my god, he got another creep tumor. The little Evo block. Evo chambers, if you can get there, have more HP when they start. His buildings have about 10% HP the moment they begin. We'll see how the Liberator does. A relatively safe and cheap choice. It doesn't require a tech lab. Obviously doesn't require a reactor, so overall, is a way to potentially do a lot of damage, and even if it doesn't, you're not out too much. Double NG base, significantly quicker than Solar's Evo chambers. So we'll see. Solar has been really focused on the upgrades. But that last game, it wasn't enough. Zerglings get in at a precarious timing here. He's actually just going to fight with the SCVs. The Liberator sieges up on the other side. Gonna find some drone kills. The Hellions come all the way back home to defend. The Liberator, well, it forces some lost mining. And does it even take a hit? It looks like one hit. The Queen's pulled out of position, just gonna siege it up there so it doesn't go wandering off. All right, and of course, make sure those trees are well covered. You never know what's lurking. There's probably some tree Zerg or something. Anyway. Liberator gonna come in while the Queens are hopefully looking the other way, and actually Clem will commit. He pushes the drones out of the way. Oh, out of the frying pan and into the fires of the Hellions. The Liberator will kill one at a time, but the Hellions do even better. 9 kills so far. A positional game here from Clem, making sure that no matter where he goes, Solar's going to be losing drones. And clearly Solar losing track of the Hellions here for a moment. They'll get by with one more sec, keeping the Zerglings as busy as possible. Is that a second Liberator? No, that's still the first one. Got 6 kills in total. Oh my god. Get back! Get... Ah! Terran, did you see that bullshit? I don't... Sorry, I blacked out for Liberator gets away with 6 kills. and keeps him busy enough. And I think Clem now with a decisive advantage as... Oh my god, he didn't start his lair. Dealing with all of that, Solar dragged every which way by just a handful of Terran units. He's not going to have Baneling speed. It's going to be 1-1 Marines. Combat shield is on the way. More medevacs. It's going to be very difficult to hold on to this. No, he doesn't bother. He lets go of the 4th base immediately. They'll expect some of us in the wreck-it. Well, they actually run home. I think those Marines will make it. He brought 18 of them. Baneling nest, 2 Baneling nests. Solar, clearly, they'll expect 1 of them. Okay. Solar clearly wants a Baneling nest here. So much so that he's getting 2. Indicating, oh my, whoa! Clem skirting the very edge of that queen range. Tantalizing. Looks like both Baneling nests will complete. If he doesn't consume that first if we get to Vipers, I will be very upset. Moderately upset. Alright. Well, Clem, gonna scan. He'll see 1-1 is done. Baneling speed isn't there, though. Queens, 2 gun down. Oh, and the Liberator at the back! Oh my, Clem again, hammer and anvil. Looking for an opportunity. Widowmine splashes across, but doesn't actually kill Banelings and Cocoons. Oh no, another hit! Clem again. Taking the initiative. And Solar really struggling to get much going. Clem very diligent about keeping that creep at bay as well. Once again, gunning down the queens. Doing his best King Henry impression. And, well, I love the drop to the north side. On top of everything. I mean, it's simple, but effective. The queens can't be in 2 places at once until the Marines get a hold of them. Then it's, well, many places, usually. Oh, Widowmine. The Banelings are rolling in. Clem with some textbook splits. And the Banelings, well, what Banelings? Gets a hit, but only when it doesn't matter anymore. Clem is grinding through them. Solar is losing so many overlords, he's at risk of getting supply blocked again at 136. Clem's at 156 out of 200. Solar is supply blocked. He's only got 1 overlord in production. He's capped out. Is there drilling claws? No. Has to expend some of the Banes, just killing the mines. Well, Solar not so supply blocked anymore. +2 melee attack is on the way. Will complete. Solar's holding on. Oh my god, the Banelings just sliced down. 1 Baneling connects, which might be enough. The reinforcements have arrived. Clem is not giving up this position. The Marines will not break. And with a Widowmine, he's trying to drag this into the Terran, but doesn't quite find the angle. Stands his ground. The Zerg surround is too much for now. But the Widowmines will recharge. The Liberator in a disgusting positioning here. The drop comes in again. And Clem drowned Solar under the weight of the Marines. It's just too much. Solar just can't get anything going. Game 1 definitely had more opportunity, but Clem has learned his lesson. He kept the pressure on from about as early as he possibly could with the first Hellions and a Liberator. And that means, well, Clem turns around too and goes up 2-1. But this is Solar's map. Literally. I mean, take a look at it. Is Solar. Solar is. Game 4. Please don't unsubscribe. Clem. 1 Rex expand. Yet again. I am very, like, for 3 or so months, it seemed like the 2 Rex Reaper would become the new meta. But it does seem like it fizzled out in favor of a tried and true. That was the most originality we've seen. And by originality, I mean kind of a reversion to old school builds, but that was the biggest shift in the Terran versus Zerg meta in quite a while, as 3CC111 has been the staple for, like I mentioned, most of Clem's lifetime. But I do think it was more reliant on players not really being prepared for it, as opposed to being a stronger option. And at some point, the correct option is just hit them with the Banelings. Oh my god. Who does that? Who dives in while they're less than half HP? He goes into Queen range to kill the Zergling and then gets out because he understands exactly how many hits he's gonna take. And it's not enough. Alright. Queen's trying to sneak in. I gotta say, like, I don't think Solar's making mistakes. At least, the mistakes are not in general decisions, but they're just in these small micro moments. Like getting supply blocked at a key time. It's very hard to keep track of when you're losing overlords half the time just trying to detect widow mines, for example. But it adds up. You don't want to overbuild things like static defense for Liberators or Zerglings early on, because if you build 10 Zerglings to counter their Hellions, well, their Hellions, without doing anything, just killed 5 drones. It doesn't work exactly like that, but because those 10 Zerglings could have been 5 more drones. So just the existence and the threatening nature of Clem's Hellions are enough to do economic damage before they even fire a shot or shoot a fire. It's going to be a heavy barracks build behind. He didn't even build anything out of the starport after the Viking. Just the Viking. Clem has shifted ever so slightly. He's adjusted ever so slightly with each game. He's shown something very similar, but come out with a slightly different timing. And it seems after game 1, he's just kept Solar off his balance. And he's really just run that through to its conclusion. It is so impressive and a little disgusting what you can do when you trust your micro. This reminds me of, I hate to say it, and for many years we joked Clem was the best Beyond impersonator. I think he surpassed him. But it is like Beyond in his best days, where you can just do things and get so much more done than anyone else. It's an impossible calculation for anyone else to make. Like, you can't... Like, Clem can come in. He can see 30 Zerglings and 15 Banelings when he has 16 Marines with two medevacs. And say, yes, I can take that. Like, something that, if me or you combined, one of us microwing each medevac of Marines, which might be a detriment to me, let's be honest here. Alright, let me give myself some credit. But we could not hope to accomplish, Clem would look at without a second thought and deal with it within a second. It is just, and it's not like Solar is not doing the same thing. With Zerg, you make these calculations even more often. You have to decide, can I fight or can I not? Because if you stay, it could be trouble, but if you go, it could very well be twice as much. So, especially when Widow Mines are involved, you do not get much time to decide. The decision is made for you very quickly, and you just have to deal with it one way or the other. So, but it's just so much more visible with the Terran Marines and units in general. It is just their nature. Very flashy. Alright, Brenda! Summon everyone! Get out of the way, Karen! Could you get out? Oh my god! I don't... Sorry, here. Lings and Banes. 1-1 on the way for both sides. Few seconds out. More hatcheries. So, notably, take note. Clem not able to pressure Solar in a significant way. He's killed 0 drones. Oh no. The Marines were standing on the depot. Disaster. I mean, that's where they were supposed to be. It's just there weren't enough of them to make the difference. The Hellions come back. The Hellions were nearby, conveniently. So only loses 5 SCVs. But he's keeping Clem busy. Clem has not started his 2-2. Oh, I'm not trapped in here with you, says Clem. And the Marine Force... Combat shield is late. I'm not sure if he just had a late stim and therefore a late combat shield, or if he forgot it. But not having combat shield and the fact that Solar already has 2-2 on the way and Baneling speed done. Look at that creep. Okay, that's the real indicator. Solar is all over Solaris. And Clem, without combat shielded Marines, without Widow Mines, he can't really assert any map control. Clem may have to settle for a much longer sort of game, as I think it would be a mistake to reach too far out of the map. We'll see. He's going to try to find the hits. He still has comparable army supply. The supplies are near even. The Widow Mines are always a danger. But the Zerglings! In again. That siege tank is taking big bites. Oh, the Marines! But the medevac saved the day! At that last moment. Planetary Fortress headed to the north side. Clem. Halfway through 2-2. Solar's closing in on his. He's already started the hive as well. So Solar in quite a good spot. Lurker Den on the way. Where Clem does have a whole lot. In fact, oh, he's maxed out. And that's a lot of Marines, Mines, and Medevacs. Actually gets the cancel off there. Ghost Academy on the way. But Solar not really budging. Clem not feeling... There's just so much map. Clem trying to work around the edges of the creep. But... it's getting more and more difficult. More Banelings added in. Widow Mine. But the mines are drawn out. If he doesn't deal with them, of course, it doesn't matter. But... ooh, another connection. A big drop headed towards the main. Microing back. Massive hit on the back. Is Solar, I'm sure, looking away towards the force of the main base. And Clem finds the heart of the swarm. Hive gonna be targeted down. The Lurker Den was taken out before a single Lurker without the Hive. He's successfully delayed the most important tech here and is gonna continue to move forward. Clem strikes at the best possible moment. He gets the damage done, and if he can execute this push, he may have just turned this game on its head. He guts the Hive, he knocks out the Lurker Den before it finishes any of its upgrades, and now all of this has to be restarted essentially from scratch. If he could have gotten the spawning pool, Solar remade the spawning pool, assuming it would have died, but at least he'll have adrenal glands done. The Widow Mines, dangerous to both sides. Clem still struggling to... oh, where's the boost? Okay. Ooh, another hit. Solar. The minefield is dense. Clem spreading them out here. Giving up this base, it looks like. Giving up some ground to be able to retake others. Dropping out of the medevacs on the high ground. The orbital will get taken out. Clem has taken another base towards the center. Solar drives back. Adrenal gland's about to complete missile attacks, level 1 for the Hydralisk. But the Vipers! There won't be any Vipers for so long. He just restarted the hive. Oh no! Solar. The medevacs boosted into the main and took with it essentially all of Solar's lead. His lead was the tech and the map control. And both of them tenuous now. There are no lurkers, there are no vipers. Adrenal gland zerglings are good, but not nearly as good as ranged lurkers. Especially in this scenario. Zerglings are... well, if they can attack, they do okay. But that's the real struggle, isn't it? The bio army chasing back the zerglings. Gonna try to get some hits. They do alright. Drop into the main yet again. Deja vu. I've just been in this base before. Oh, that's a lot of medevacs. Solar says, I'll help you out with that. Them a bit on autopilot. Actually able to target down. Sends the Marauders forward as tribute. So many medevacs. Targeting Banes. Oh my god. Widowmine, this battle has lasted over 3 minutes and is not going to stop now. The Banelings rolling in, free-pulling SCVs, and obliterating the planetary fortress. Not enough. No amount of repair stops a one-shot. And the battle will continue. The Queens. Oh, the Dubula actually hurting there. Widowmine. Diffused, such as it is. What a slugfest here. Clem still scrabbling for momentum as Solar holds on to most of his bases. Another orbital command is landed. Clem still has a lot of supply. It's not like Solar has much in the bank. Trying to open up these rocks to give himself more options here. Splits off a single Widowmine. Clem unburrows it. Pulls back with more. Overseers finally rebuilding that hive tech. Clem bought himself several minutes, but he hasn't been able to turn the tide. Solar still knocking at the door. The wave of Zerg has not yet receded. And now, the Banelings are rolling in towards the natural. The Liberator will stall out some of the Hydras. A huge bio-army from the north side actually forces Solar back. Getting outflanked here, Clem. The Banelings will draw him off for now, but the Widowmines connect again. And some of them on the way out. 3-3 about to finish for Clem. Actually, +3 attack, not 3-3. 2 Zerglings. Wow. Wow. Hero Zerglings. And then they die to a mine. In the mineral line there on hold position. Getting whatever SCVs they could. But Clem is down 20 supply. Sorry. Freudian slip. Not Cyril. Solar. That's how good Solar is playing. Solar, 88 drums, full 4 base saturation, adding even more. Widowmines all over the place. But not enough to stall out the Zerg. More economic damage. Clem trying to keep it together. The Zerg army is continually threatening. The mines are blunting the damage, but only just. And now 5 lurkers on the way and a spire. And this is going to be difficult for 2 ghosts and a handful of liberators to help defend. Well, Clem trying to divide and conquer. Sends a drop to the north, takes out a hatch. 5 lurkers with range, tries to skirt them there. Oh, the parasitic bomb quarantines a medevac, more drilling claws. And that's a big hit. More Widowmines connect. Solar expanding south when Clem takes out the north. Liberators looking for drones. Drop headed towards the main. Solar moves back to defend. The threat of this drop. The accidental cyclone. Cletus has joined us again. Clem has a tendency, I think he used grid hotkeys or something like that and accidentally makes Cyclones in the late game instead of Widow Mines. It's happened less and less lately, but it's been happening since the patch. And Cyclones built on a reactor like Widow. The Lurkers are moving in. And does Clem have the ghost count to dislodge them? He's going to lose another dozen SCVs, maybe the orbital. The ghosts unable to line up their shots, get interrupted. Another bioarmy to drop in the natural, in the fourth. But now Clem has to hold the main. Solar has to be careful not to lose too much at home. The Banelings on the run here. Those SCVs are very dead. 31 SCVs down. The Hydra's gonna find the Liberators. Clem plummets. 190 to 130 supply. He's able to take out one of the bases. But the economy and the base itself vulnerable to Solar's Hydras. Marauders scattered throughout. Another command center guns down some more queens in the middle of the map. Able to pick up, but flies right into the Hydraless. Loses one medevac. Skirts the Wla and actually gets a bit of a speed boost off it. What a devastating game for both sides. Clem down to 48 SCVs. Oh, the pickup. And there's not enough energy. There's nowhere to go for the medevacs. Parasitic bomb be coming up soon. Now, Solar has to be a little careful about leaving Clem back. The mules are landing. Clem's income lead is starting to dip. The Valley of Mules will cut into it. A snipe gets a lurker. Widow Mines, a volley. Not incredible hits. Just sniping whatever he can get. And what he can get is a surprising amount of Hydras. Another scan. He knows where the army is. Pre-pulls the orbital command. The supplies are drawing close to even the bioarmy at the back. Transfuses. Oh my. Gets the medevac full of units, and that may snap the tenuous thread of control that Clem has over this game. There's no counterattack lined up. There's no Liberator. There might be a Widow Mine or two or something. Yeah, there's a Widow Mine. But there's almost no ability to do counter damage for Clem. It's looking more and more desperate. But he's not out of it yet. Clem with ghosts and medevacs is quite literally never out of the game. So, lines up a volley of snipes. Only uses energy when it goes off. But doesn't have enough energy to scan for the creep and save it for at home. Smartly leaves it for the lurkers. Solar, unable to max out reliably, is still playing very careful. That Infester, the Serral Fester, waiting for its moment. There's 13 ghosts on the field. He needs to interrupt them. He needs to hold them down and maul them to pieces. Otherwise, the supplies are still so high. A scan. There are the ghosts. The Infester coming through the Wla from the backside. Where's the Infester? Come back here. The Infester may have lost the plot on this one. Or he predicted it perfectly. He pops up, hits a fungal on everything. The parasitic bomb. There's nowhere to run. Those lifeboats aren't safe. And Clem plummets in supply. Half of his units torn out of the sky, and the the rest drop out into a world of destruction. Oh my god. Mangling my words. Just like Solar was able to mangle Clem's army. He loses the Infester. Clem still has a lot of army supply, but he lost 29 SCVs. He has to make something happen right here, right now. If he doesn't, we're going to the ace match. There's no economy there. Is there enough for a scan? I don't know how many orbitals are landed. How many lurkers are back at home? There's one Widow Mine. Will it save the day? No! It's not enough! Another fungal! The supply! The parasitic bombs can hunt down the medevacs! Awkwardly, he spots them at the last second. Clem's army is stranded. scattered and broken. I think there's enough for one more bomb, but... Well... Somehow... Clem returned. A Liberator. 16 drones dead. Is he gonna try to out-microwave? Does one Marine beat a Liberator with a medevac? I don't think so. Loses more. It's not enough. It can't be enough, right? The fungal off the mark. Clem. If it was anyone else. But it's Clem. So there's still a dream. He tries to fly to the next map. Doesn't work like that, Clem. No matter how much Terrans try. GG! He's just gonna try to take the medevacs with him. We're going to Game 5. Solar ended up losing 7,000 more resources, which is relatively cheap in the grand scheme of things. 722 Zerglings. So many Widow Mines. But away we go. What a game. Clem never dead, but again, another game defined by momentum. Momentum that Solar took big advantages early. Clem almost took the rug out from under him. But Solar, once again, oh my. They share so many letters. This, you know what, moving on. But Game 5, 2-2. Site Delta. Solo was able to find his footing. And that made all the difference. Clem, I think, got locked into that heavy aggression mode, feeling like I need to do damage, and that left him vulnerable to some counterattack. Eventually, Solar... God, it's so hard to pin him down, though. Clem refuses to die. And I think, really, up until those medevacs were stranded in the corner of the map, we've seen it before. If anyone can find a way out of that situation, it's Special Agent Clem. 2-2. Just a brawl between these two. This is like watching an MMA fight as opposed to a chess match. When I watch Clem versus Cyril, for example, it truly feels like maybe not quite chess, but maybe like joust, fencing. Oh, point. All right, point there. Whereas this is just pummeling each other. They're maintaining their form. They're keeping their wits about them. But pummeling. God. The losses add up so quick once they start going. So the battle report. This thing we bring up sometimes. It's not perfect. It resets after 30 seconds of no units lost, of no resources lost. Multiple times we brought it up. 3-4 minutes. Without a single lull in the action. At least one not amounting to 30 seconds. And not because they're blundering into each other, but because of that continued aggression. But now, in Game 5, is Clem bringing out the most Wings of Liberty build of all? Or is this Cyclones? Oh my god. Clem and the attack of the clones. Four games in a row. I pontificated. I made creative analogies. I talked about how young Clem is. I said Hellion Banshee. Hellion Starport. Alright, 1-1-1 into 3cc. What a gamble. But what a series played by Clem. To play 4 games. Essentially barely changing the cookie cutter, and then breaking out the machete. The mass cyclone build with hurricane thrusters. The Overlord is coming in at a precarious timing, and it's going to be difficult to hide this, if only because there's nothing else to see. The severe lack of any other information is information in and of itself. He's got Stim behind because, of course, it is still a bio build, no matter how far down the mech path we go. 3 clones at a time, those Cyclones. So much better at doing real damage to the queens rather than the emotional damage of the Hellions. 4 Cyclones! Hurricane Thruster's already done! The damage output is intense here! Knocks out 1 queen! Oh, another one! A regicide build here! Oh my god! He's just slaughtering them! 12 roaches on the way, but without speed! Oh my god! Solar has 58 drones. If he can get to roach speed without losing too many of them... The Hellions coming in, though, trying to make exactly that happen. And the Cyclone production continues. 56 drones. The Hellions come in for more. Oh, he gets a roast. He's trying to chase, and this also drags the units out of position. So that way the Cyclones have a better angle. Stim is finishing, but I'm not sure what he's going to do with that. Ooh, a bit of a missed micro forward. There's still glass cannons here. But cannons indeed. The Zerglings get in. All the way to the main. Somehow most of these Cyclones survive. Oh my god, Stim's the Marine. The Zerglings. Clem just handles it perfectly. Plenty of barracks in production as well. These Cyclones. These Cyclones. God, that was so effective. Right now it is 2,500 to 750 resources. And even then, backing up with bio, he still has 10 clones. 10 clones, 10 marines. The mech marine that is the Cyclone. About as microbial. Solar does have an infestation bit on the way. He's got a Baneling nest on the way. 1-1 on the way. But none of those things delivered yet. Oh my god, the Cyclones take out an Ovi. Solar, 1 or 2 Ovis away from supply block. Or worse. So many times in this series. But road speed is done. The Cyclone's gonna suffer for it. Wow, just wades through the corrosive bow to try to pick off some more. Keeping up, it doesn't matter what units he has. He's gonna use them to control the creep. Keep the situation, and the benefit of going for this double factory Cyclone build is now Clem. I just said he has 2 factories. He's building siege tanks and widow mines behind. It's not like the factory is a useless building once you stop building Cyclones. Solar, though, he's up to 76 drones. He's gotten 4 bases. It might have looked frustrating, but he still has a solid economy. He's been able to recover behind this. The Cyclone's trying to come in, but the roaches with speed. Handling it. I'm not sure if he spotted the infestor. He definitely did now. Microing back. Gonna deal with the creep. Cyclones getting chased down here. But keeping a lot of the army busy. And Clem gonna try to use that. Stutter stepping the clones. Not really stepping, but just like stuttering at least. Oh, Brenda, no! I don't... Queen's taking the wrong path. There aren't that many left. 5 queens. Already lost 6 of them. The Cyclones are still poking in as well. They're keeping the army supply tied up. that he needs a fungal. That wasn't it. That base taking so much damage. That couple tanks on the back line really helping out. Exhaust the banelings. The Marines. Ooh, a baneling connects. Forces Clem back. Solar will keep the base alive. He starts an Ultra Cavern. What a series. What a game. These two so evenly matched. Feels like Clem is able to get an edge, but Solar just... He just bounces back from damage. He weathers it like no other Zerg. He just takes those hits. Alright, the Lynx. Widowmine takes a decent hit. Makes sure he gets the, make sure to get the siege tank. Another attack to the south. Oh my god, the Cyclones are still alive. Viper pops up. Clem almost guns it down. Came out a little too early. Needed a Red Bull before that. Not enough energy. Adrenal glands, chitinous plating, and 2-2 on the way. Really rushing up to that lair tech, hive tech rather, is Solar. Whereas Clem, looks like he misclicked the command center out onto the field and is now wandering it back up to the 4th. A very stressful time for both players. Alright, Clem moving forward. Guns down a queen. Widowmine targeted onto a Ravager. He retargeted it. Adrenal gland's about to complete. Solar. Now he's got the energy on the Vipers. Clem hasn't even finished his Ghost Academy yet, and Ultras are in the production tab. Is that a fake? Or did he accidentally send out 3 medevacs? The world may never know. Viper wants that parabomb, gets it. Actually, micros back the medevac. But there weren't enough units in position, and now Clem picks off one of the hatcheries. Softened up earlier, finally comes and gets it. And there's no creep over to this side either. The queens! No! 13 queens dead. There are no queens left. The monarchy has been overthrown by the Frenchmen. All right, viva la revolution! Oh my, the Terrans have taken out every single queen, and that's really going to hurt as time goes on. You need the Zerglings, you need the banelings, you need the larvae. He doesn't have it. Just gonna make more Ultras. Nothing gets more larva efficient than Ultras, but 4 queens in production. The bioarmor getting a little drawn out. And the Widowmines hitting on the Terran army as well. Corrosive Bile, oh, even the Cyclones mixed in, helping out against the Ultras. Ultras do have chitinous plating, but that's a lot of Marauders and some siege tanks on the high ground. Dodges out of the Corrosive Bile, which takes approximately 3 years to finish. Down goes another Ultra. Targets a second. There's only one more. Banelings, but the Terran units in the red. Very close to dead. Baneling rolls in. Gets a big chunk of them. Widowmines, though, get most of the rest of the Banes and immediately forced to turn around. The Ultras and Ravagers, but Clem loses 19 SCVs at the back. That's the sort of economic damage that Solar needed. And Clem is forced to retreat and kind of assess the damage. He's down to 59 SCVs. Solar's still at 85 drones. He has gotten those queens back online. Alright, and the Ultras sneaking up. He sidesteps the bios, eats one on the medevacs, but it could have been so much worse. Ultra popped. Clem targeting the Ultra with the Liberator, almost gets a Corrosive Bile, knocks down one. Another Ultra imploded. Exploded. Either way. Floated. Those are changelings. Yep. Clem at 186 supply. Solar really struggling here. He got the counter damage. But now Clem, he's got ghosts. He's still filling out the mines. Feels like he hasn't really stopped expanding. There might be a Viper. There are plenty of Ultras. But the Ultras on their own. The ghosts line up their shots. The Ultras go down. Oh no, drones. Solar's losing track of his units. He needs to keep it together just a little bit longer. Oh, there's still some Widow Mines at the back. Pops up. Reburrows. Trying to find the hit. Parasitic Bomb onto Vikings. The Vikings here to zone out the oh, another mine hit. And Clem is coming in towards the south side as well, the Bio Army. Looking for an opportunity. Ghost taken out. There's so many Marauders with this army. The Baneling's just not that effective. He needs more Zerglings with it, and he doesn't have them. Clem has money in the bank right now. Whereas Solar is spending every last bit. Clem building more orbitals. He's building all those late-game Terran units that are so hard to deal with. Solar's still near 200 supply. But he just can't seem to find a fight. Another Ultra down. 8 Ultras and counting. Oh, and we will be counting. Another set of mines. The snipes lined up. Ultras knocked down, softened up. Liberator on the back line. Solar unable to close the distance. Widowmine hits all the Banes. The Ultra chewed up and spit out. Another Ultra coming through, and that will be enough to keep Clem at bay for now. But at what cost? The Ghost, the Liberator, the Widow Mines gets the medevac with it. And Ultra led down a dark path with the breadcrumbs explosive mines. Somehow, Solar still has a significant supply, but the Infestor was spotted by the turret for a split second. We don't mind. Ultra underneath the Liberation Zone, targeted. Take it out. Widowmine's recharge. And Solar just can't keep going. Clem on the cusp of victory here. A great parasitic bomb, but the Widowmines are not being dealt with. The Liberators are costing too much energy to handle. Clem is getting further and further. Solar just doesn't have the unit composition to compete. He needs more reliable anti-air, and he simply doesn't have it. One Viper and a handful of Queens are not enough to deal with these medevacs and these Liberators. Widow Mines are closing in. I gotta commend Solar. He's able to keep so much supply. He just keeps the units on the field. The Fungal! The last gasp! Another one! But by the time the Ultras close the distance, it runs out. And where do you go? Running the gauntlet, trying to use the Ravagers. He doesn't have enough Ravagers. The Ultra still, the action, like, let's go to that battle report. 3 minutes straight of just a slaughterhouse. And at the end of the day, God, Solar's so good at staying in the game, but this time around, he hasn't done the damage to Clem. Clem keeps building units that Solar simply can't deal with. I'm actually incredibly impressed. He's still going. But it's not getting any easier. He has to use Ravagers, which make for one of the biggest targets possible for the Ghosts. Solar down to 128. He's fighting for his life right now. But it's about to be snuffed out. Widow Mines. Ghosts aren't particularly bad against any of this. Lines of shots of the Ultra. There's nowhere to go. Handful of Ravagers survive. GG. WP. Clem takes it in one of the most exhaustive, action-packed Terran versus Zerg slugfest I have ever seen. A deserved victory. And Solar showing why he deserves to be listed at the top of those Zergs. But at the end of the day, Clem just a little too cost-effective, too good at maintaining momentum, and Solar unable to break the Terran lines for long enough. to turn them. What a series. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you got the means of motivation, be awesome. Check out Patreon. But I hear liking and subscribing are still free for now. And also checking out recommended the little boxes over there. You know the boxes. You've been on this site before. Be awesome if you check that out. That helps out a lot going from the sidebar there. Suggested videos, all that. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Congratulations to Clem. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.